Asha received some words of wisdom from the newcomer. Soap stars play Who Said That? Coronation Street spoilers follow. Coronation Street has revealed that Asha Alahan will have a turning point in her fortunes following some helpful advice from Maggie Driscoll. The paramedic has had a difficult few weeks following a traumatic shift in which she was racially abused by Naomi. After bumping into the villain again in Weatherfield, Asha's mental health spiraled, and she made an attempt to take her own life. Thursday's 30th October episode of the ITV soap saw Asha help out with the preparations for the Quad's birthday party, though it was immediately apparent that she was still struggling with her mental health in the presence of Bernie. As the group silently worked away, Gemma popped a balloon and declared that they weren't a quiet family and urged them to hash it out. Bernie attempted to apologize to Asha for previous actions, but Asha took herself outside. Gemma eventually found her and made a concerted effort to reach out as she tried to spark a conversation. She shared some details about her own troubles with depression and gave Asha some friendly advice. Asha listened to a phone call from Bernie, which triggered flashbacks from her traumatic ordeal with Naomi. As she began suffering a panic attack, she bumped into Maggie, who quickly realized that Asha was struggling. Maggie suggested that she sit down before speaking if she wanted to, with her calming demeanor quickly reassuring Asha. The pair discussed their living situations, with Asha recalling the recent events from her life. As Asha discussed her ongoing battle with depression, Maggie offered her some salient advice, saying, "In your job, you must have met people in similar situations. You know, feeling depressed and that they can't go on, am I right? And you managed to talk them down. You managed to get them help and support. Well, maybe that's what you need to do now. Only this time, you do it for yourself," she continued, with the words striking a chord in Asha. She agreed to get some help, with Dev and Bernie arriving as Asha was driven away by the paramedics. Maggie introduced herself, with Asha imploring her father to support her on her journey. In the bustling, often chaotic world of Coronation Street, where drama unfolds in the pub and secrets are whispered over garden fences, a quiet moment of profound humanity can sometimes make the most powerful impact. In a week of gripping episodes, the ITV soap has delivered a masterclass in nuanced storytelling, focusing on the fragile mental state of Asha Alahan and the unexpected lifeline thrown to her by the street's newest resident. This pivotal narrative, which culminated in Asha finally seeking professional help, was not driven by an explosive confrontation or a shocking reveal, but by the calm, empathetic wisdom of Maggie Driscoll, whose simple yet powerful advice may have saved a life. The journey to this breaking point has been weeks in the making, tracing back to a traumatic shift for paramedic Asha, during which she was subjected to a vicious and racially motivated tirade by a character named Naomi. The incident left deep psychological wounds that failed to heal. A subsequent unexpected encounter with Naomi in Weatherfield acted as a trigger, causing Asha's mental health to spiral catastrophically and leading to a recent suicide attempt, a harrowing plot that has been handled with careful sensitivity by the show and its actor, Tanisha Gori. Thursday's episode, October 30th, opened with Asha attempting to re-engage with life, helping Gemma and Bernie Winter with the frantic preparations for the Quad's birthday party. Yet the scene was charged with a palpable and painful tension. Asha moved through the chaos like a ghost, her silence and distant expression a stark contrast to the surrounding family frenzy. It was Bernie who acknowledged the elephant in the room, attempting a clumsy but well-intentioned apology for her past behavior. However, for Asha, who was grappling with complex trauma, the interaction was overwhelming. Unable to bear the weight of the conversation, she retreated outside, seeking solace in isolation. It was here that the first genuine glimmer of hope appeared. Gemma, often portrayed as comically chaotic, revealed a layer of profound depth and empathy. Finding Asha alone, she shared her own personal struggles with depression, breaking down the wall of isolation that mental illness often builds. "I've been there," Gemma likely conveyed, in a moment of pure, unfiltered friendship. Her words were a vital first step, a reminder to Asha that she was not alone in her feelings. Yet, the trauma ran deeper than a single conversation could heal. As Asha listened to a voicemail from Bernie, the world around her dissolved into a storm of panic. Triggered by the sound, she was violently thrust back into flashbacks of her racist abuse, the words of Naomi echoing in her mind. As a panic attack gripped her, she stumbled through the street. Breathless and disoriented, a heartbreaking depiction of how PTSD can ambush its victims in the most mundane of moments. It was at this precipice that a new face emerged as an unlikely guardian angel. Maggie Driscoll, the matriarch of the new family set to take over the Rover's return, found Asha in her moment of utter distress. Portrayed with a wonderful, grounded warmth by Pauline McLynn, Maggie's approach was not one of panic or prying, but of serene practicality. "You look like you could do with sitting down," she suggested, her calming demeanor immediately creating a safe space. She didn't demand answers. She simply offered a presence. As they sat, Asha began to tentatively unpack the heavy burden she had been carrying, speaking of her depression and the feeling that she could no longer go on. It was then that Maggie, connecting with Asha's profession, delivered the crucial, life-altering insight. "In your job, you must have met people in similar situations. You know, feeling depressed and that they can't go on, am I right?" Maggie asked, gently guiding Asha to a perspective she had been unable to see for herself. "And you managed to talk them down. You managed to get them help and support. Well, maybe that's what you need to do now. Only this time you do it for yourself." The power of this statement cannot be overstated. Maggie reframed Asha not as a broken victim, but as a capable caregiver who now needed to turn that skill inward. She gave her permission to seek help, validating her struggle while empowering her to take action. The words struck a deep chord, cutting through the fog of Asha's despair with the clarity she so desperately needed. In that moment, a stranger's empathy accomplished what the worry of her own family could not. It forged a path forward. The episode's climax was both heartbreaking and hopeful. As Dev and Bernie arrived on the scene, their faces etched with fear and confusion, they found Asha being calmly attended to by paramedics, her own colleagues now there for her. In a poignant full-circle moment, the caregiver became the patient. Asha, with newfound resolve, implored her father, "Please, Dad, let them help me." A plea that was as much for her own benefit as it was for his. Maggie's quiet introduction to Dev served as a subtle passing of the baton, from the stranger who provided the crucial intervention to the family who must now provide the long-term support. This storyline is a significant and commendable one for Coronation Street. It highlights the insidious nature of trauma and depression, showing that recovery is not linear, and that triggers can lurk anywhere. More importantly, it powerfully demonstrates that help and wisdom can come from the most unexpected places, and that sometimes the most heroic thing a person can do is to finally, bravely, do it for yourself.